The Kaisonka with news from Bridgetown that must make every Kaiso lover's blood boil. They fire the announcer, they fire Ronnie. Why? Cause he singer Kaiso, critical of a big wig in culture. They forget the power of Gabi. We have one message. Sing Ronnie say.
Family, it's Ronnie's right to free speech.
From good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and you are watching the Marcia Weekes Show, and we are coming to you live from Barbados. You just heard the national anthem of Barbados, and I'm holding in my hand the national flag of Barbados. It is a beautiful night. Tonight, it is November the 10th, and it's almost 1 year or 1 year anniversary. November 11, 2024, when we went to Washington, y'all. Barbados, we went to Washington on behalf of the people of Barbados concerning the proposed cybercrime bill, a bill that this government was seeking to imprison the people of Barbados for making a post that offends, a post that they think that might hurt somebody's feelings. 10 years in jail and or $100,000. Do you know how many $100,000 I would be paying and how many years I would have in jail if that bill was passed and be made into law? In fact, what they had done with it, they had passed it through the lower upper houses, went through already. And because of our agitation, Barbados, may we never forget that. That bill is now in the garbage. And I dare this government to bring this bill back. You can't. You can't. And tonight, I'm going to spend a little time to talk about just a little bit of what the IACHRS said to this government. I'm going to remind them what the IACHRS said to this government concerning that cybercrime bill. And in the name of the Lord, you can't touch that bill again. But I tell you, I have a sneaky feeling that they're planning to do it after election. After election, because they believe they're going to win again. They believe they're going to get into power. So after election, their plan, I believe, is to then pick this up because it was passed already in the lower house, in the upper house, and it went to the Joint Select Committee. You remember that? Remember, that's the progression of this bill. And it wasn't until we went to Washington and Washington said, oh no, you need to spend time and speak with civil society. This is 1 year. In fact, they went on a Monday. It was last year on a Monday. This year it falls on a Tuesday. And I want to say to Barbados, may we never forget this time in the history of Barbados, when the citizens of Barbados, not politicians, not political parties, it was the citizens of Barbados who stood up against the government of Barbados, using a lawyer that it was alleged they paid them of the taxpayers' money over $200,000 US. And our Dr. Ferdinand, along with the 3 young persons from Barbados, all under 30 years old, have those lawyers took them and tied them up and twist them up. Yes, they did. And we came out, the victor out of that. And did it together as a group. Barbadians living in Barbados and those in the diaspora. This is one thing we can say in modern day Barbados. We did together. And if they said it was done by a political party, you know it's a lie. You had people from all different walks of life there. And we chose young people. This was one, Dr. Ferdinand, although he's young as well, and he had with him 4 young persons who presented. Let that go down in the history. their lawyer, our lawyer, checked into that lawyer, a big wig lawyer from the UK, that they flew in. It's alleged that they flew him into Washington to represent the country. That's how serious this was. And they sent a delegation, come on, of our taxpayers' money to fight us, the people. And they lost. They lost big time. Anniversary. We must celebrate this, folks. Never forget it. All done by the people of Barbados. Yes, the pressure group. And it is with this backdrop, I want to say to every single one of you, it's against this backdrop, I want to say, Saturday, do you see the power of solidarity? Do you see what happens when we come together? So when we come out for this solidarity walk, together for freedom, we stand with Ronnie. Be it known tonight that if that group did not go to Washington, that group of Barbadians made up of 90%, over 90% of young people who went to Washington to get that cyber crime bill thrown into the garbage. If we had not gone, our beloved Ronnie would not just be fired today. He would have a charge against him. Do you understand that? Barbados, do you understand that? Tonight, Ronnie Clarke would have had a charge against him and facing 10 years in prison. Down at Glenderry over a song. Do you hear me? If they could fire him over that, because somebody in government made a call and was offended. Did you remember what it said? The cybercrime bill had said? If anyone was even offended by any post that was made on the internet, yeah, Mr. Ronnie Clarke would be in jail today, spending 10 years. I wonder if Barbadians are understanding this. So don't mind the Prime Minister pushing out propaganda and lies as she always does. The lie that the Prime Minister has put out, which states that, oh, they're talking about the cybercrime bill and all this, they can't do this and they can't do that, but they're marching every week. We're marching every week, Prime Minister Motley. Remember that. Not at your beckoning. It is because of the Constitution that you, I'm sure, would like changed. You don't have the power. You could try. The Constitution gives us the right to vote, but you must remember, Prime Minister Motley, that you were the one using the cybercrime bill to take away our constitutional right. It is you. You tried to take our constitutional right from us. So when you are going to laugh and say, along with Jerome Walcott, the missing Minister of Health, when you are going to say that, oh, they say that, because of the cybercrime bill, they can't march. No, we didn't say that. And we're marching every other week. You are taking note. I know you are. As I said last night, a lot of us are leaders in this movement who they consider to be leaders because this thing is so diverse. You take me out and this is going to grow. All the people that they perceive to be leaders, they have cars following them. You have people following people all about. So we know you know. And when I say you, I'm talking the government, not you in particular. You send people down at, we see them. We see them down at the march, pretending they're going into Cape Shepherd, pretending this, pretending that. We see them waiting for us over at Independence Square. So we know, you know, it happens. We see the drones that they have sent over our heads, and we always wave to them and say hi. So we know, you know. And we see the people that have been assigned to me. We know those from the special forces that have been assigned to me. We see them, and I smile with them. I shake their hands. I have nothing to hide. Nothing to hide. So we know, you know. But with all of that, all that is happening that you have no control over, and that's what your problem is. The Constitution. The Constitution is not the right one. We don't have the Republic Constitution, but our constitutional right allows us to be on the road. And you don't, it's not for you to determine. It's a commission of police. That's the only reason we are out there. You know that to me. You know that to Pierre Motley. You know, if it's up to you, we're not going to be out there. You know, you don't like the marches. And that's why we are doing the solidarity walk with Ronnie. We stand with Ronnie. Saturday, November 15th. This continues, guys. It's a continuation of the cybercrime bill. This here, guys, the whole thing is about freedom of speech, freedom of expression. This government is against that. The cybercrime bill is the proof that this motley government is against freedom of speech and freedom of expression in this country. Because they're yet to tell Barbados whether or not this entire thing started with Ronnie and his company because someone from high up in government, somebody high up in government reached out to this man's place of employment and made a complaint. They're yet to deny that or to confirm that. We're asking the motley government to confirm or deny. Was there any government influence, political influence in the termination of this man, the firing of Ronnie Clarke? And I hereby suggest to you, Barbados, based on the facts, what I'm seeing in front of me, based on what I see in front of me, based on what I see, my opinion, I think, it is what I think, my commentary on what I see, that this was squarely politically motivated. Folks, I know some of you want to come out to this march, but I hear it already. You call me, you love Ronnie. You miss him on the radio. Some of you are so upset. One little lady, she's so angry. She said, I can't even call you. I'm going to type how I feel because I'm so angry. She says, I'm going to miss Ronnie. Another one called. She said, Ronnie is always on the air. Sometimes I say, oh, why Ronnie don't go home? Why Ronnie don't go home? Ronnie gives so much of his time The little lady was so overcome to this morning. But then there are those who feel the same way, but they're so scared to come out. Why are they so scared to come out? There's so many agree and they believe that it's politically motivated. And you're going to tell me they cannot come on the street and walk with someone who is hurting because they're afraid? They're afraid. You know what they're afraid of? Somebody might see them in the crowd. What kind of country is this, Barbados? That you want to sympathize with somebody, you want to empathize with somebody, and you're afraid to be seen in the crowd? Wow. And then the Prime Minister says, oh, and they're talking about a dictatorship. Madam Prime Minister, this is a dictatorship that you have created single-handedly. You created it, Mia Motley. You created an environment where people are afraid to walk on the streets and to say, I stand in solidarity with a fellow Barbadian who they believe was wronged. Why are they afraid? And you will go down in history. Your administration, Madam Prime Minister, will go down in history as the first ever in Barbados that has created such a climate of fear. If you did not know, Mia Motley, the people are afraid of you. They are. And they're afraid of you because of what they see has happened to people like Ronnie, people like myself, people like Ralph Thorne, the people who stick out their necks for fellow Barbadians, stick out their necks to stand up for people. And you disbelieve me? Ask the people in the BLP, the ones who are calling me. Talk to them how afraid they are of you. And that is why I want Ronnie to know, Ronnie, I am hoping the people come out. But the number of calls and messages that I have received, and I know that you have received, I know will be much bigger, much more in quantity and in numbers than the people you see out there. And it's not because they don't love you, Ronnie. They're afraid of Mia Motley. How many of you are going to fight the fear and do this? Fight the fear, break that spirit of fear, and come out for someone else. Do it for somebody else. There are people who did it for you in putting their faces out there and went to Washington for you. You're in the church. The cybercrime bill would have imprisoned many pastors. All you've got to do is to preach a particular scripture. Genesis what? 1:28. God created male and female. He created them. Oh, preach that. And somebody who believes that it's not just male and female can say, I'm offended. And because they say, I am offended, that could land you in a law court with the possibility of you going to prison. People stuck out their necks for you. But here it is, a Barbadian, a fellow Barbadian. How many of you, let me see the comment section. How many of you, there are over almost 700 of you watching right now. How many of you are going to be at the march on Saturday? We're calling it a walk. Because we're walking with him in solidarity, together for freedom. Stand with Ronnie. You cannot silence a Calypsonian and expect the people to remain silent. I know some of you have heard the response from Starcom, laced, in my opinion, with lies. I told you, remember, I told you when it was going to come out, because I have just started in the media just a couple years ago, and I watch how they operate. I've been studying. I'm learning a lot through the show. I knew that today, Monday, is when they were going to make the statement, and they were waiting to hear what people like myself were going to say, what Ronnie is going to say, what social media is saying. Then they're going to go now and tailor make their response based on what we were saying in social media. I told you that is what was going to happen. What happened? They did it today, and as far as I'm seeing, they did it in the evening. They did it in the evening. So they get less time in the day. It's all a strategy. If they did it in the morning, it would have taken up the conversation for the whole day. It's all a strategy, folks. It's done in the evening. By tomorrow, you probably forget about it. That's how it is. But prove them wrong. And I also told you that they would seek to assassinate his character. Put things out there. But the thing about it, I love about Ronnie, since Dave and I met Ronnie. Okay, it was at the 12:30 news first. Thank you. Thanks for that correction. Thank you. Yeah. Folks, let me tell you one thing I know about Ronnie Clarke. My husband and I, we've been friends with him and his family since I came to Barbados. Yeah, literally. And one thing I know about him, he's a fighter. If you think that I'm a fighter, check Ronnie Clarke. And sharp as a tack. So understand something. That statement, Ronnie is going to deal with that in its fullness on Saturday. He's going to take that statement and pull it apart. From what I have seen, that it's not mine. I can't put that before you this evening, but I've seen it. And it is laughable. Lies. Lies. Folks, when you talk about Pinocchio stuff, folks, I have never seen this is a place where, I had planned to deal with the Ronnie stuff later on. But you know what, I can't help it, because folks, they're gonna be exposed. They're gonna be exposed on Saturday, and I want everybody to come out. Folks, we are setting up a stage for Ronnie. Ronnie gonna get a stage inside of Independence. We're gonna march with him, and we're gonna talk on the truck as we do, and we're gonna stop at a few places, 1 or 2 places, and pray, because I hear the people. We're here on behalf of the people of Barbados, and people want to pray. We're gonna pray, but I guarantee you, we're not gonna pray the whole journey. Not this one. Not this one, but there's a special prayer one that we want to do. And I've been talking with some of the prayer warriors. November 29th, the day before Independence. I think that's a powerful day to fill the streets with prayer on November 29th. That one. This one. You know, we can't tell people to come to a solidarity walk for our brother Ronnie. We're standing with Ronnie, and then we turn it into a prayer meeting. That would not be integrity, right? And I believe in my best. I make mistakes sometimes. I do, like everybody else, you know, Pauline. But I seek to I seek to be somebody of integrity. So I will not invite you to come out to Stand with Ronnie, okay, at a walk and turn it into a prayer meeting. Not me. We plan our own prayer meeting. And if they come and want to turn it into something else, then there's problems. You get me? So we are going to Saturday. We will have one or two prayers. You know, we always start with prayer and we end with prayer. We put a prayer probably in between there at a specific location. Yeah. A prayer too. But we're going to be playing some of Ronnie's songs straight up. We play some gospel songs. We're going to have our regular speeches, regular stops on the road. Bring out all the every noise. We're wearing white. We are wearing what? What are we wearing? White. Okay, everybody, we're wearing white. Full white for this. Yeah? Bring out any noise, anything you can use to make noise. We're making noise. The big truck is already, you know, we already have the truck. It's going to cost us the entire thing because we are seeking to actually rent Independence Square. You know, we normally stay at the little tick there. We follow the law. We don't break the law, but we're clever, right? But we always stay right on the road there. And on the little, you know, we just shade under the gazebo. And thankfully, the people in the park realize that we're not abusing the system, but we're finishing up our march. Okay. This time, the intention is to go into the square when we're finished. We're going to, by God's grace, erect a stage. Okay. And, you know, to do that, it's going to cost, in order to do all of that, it will cost us $3,700. $3,700. Everybody write that down. $3,700. The good thing about this, we've never owed anybody anything. Thank God. We had a bill that we have forgotten about, and that is now paid. Not that forgotten, it was a little difficult to get to the people to pay it. But it's paid, and we are ready to go. And so we don't have anything outstanding for anybody. Thank God. Isn't that wonderful? We're not owing anybody like this government. You see what happens when you come together? Can you imagine if they involved us in what they were doing and we working together, parish by parish, to bring this nation back together? We wouldn't need to owe anybody anything. We can take care of the people within our parishes, you know. So if everybody, I know, and Dave will tell you, I find it difficult to come to you guys. Sometimes I rather not to come. Dave has to keep me. You have to ask the people. I don't like to do it. You know why? Because I know it's not easy to go to the supermarket. I know it's tough. And some of you, I will still say, don't, you know, I mean, you're sure, and you still want to bring something. If you can. If you can, and you can help with this bill, $3,700. Yeah? Can easily be paid off. This includes the truck, includes the small stage that we're going to put up. You might be listening and you say, Marcia, but my company, we do staging and we have a small stage. We can put up a stage for you. We can put up a tent. Does anybody have a 10 by 10 tent? I believe the gentleman says a 10 by 10 tent. If we have a 10 by 10 tent, then we can cut some of our expenses. Okay? Does anybody have a 10 by 10 tent? It's live television, so I'm going to ask Dave. My phone is charging. If Dave could just bring it for me, I appreciate you, Dave. Thank you very much. Because I will get the information in there. You know, and then we have to, once you put a tent up, you pay $250 to NCC. Okay. Then there is insurance that has to be paid for the use of the place. We don't need to play cost cap because we're speaking and it's not a concert, right? Yeah. So folks, yeah, if you want to donate, if you have a tent, and you say, Marcia, I have a tent and, you know, I can bring the tent and so they can put it up, etc. That would be great. That would be great. If you are a staging company and you want to, you know, and what about, yeah, if that's you and you want to do that, you want to provide the stage, then that is great. Provide the stage if that's what you want to do, so that we don't have to incur that cost. Or you're an insurance company and you want us to, you want to say, listen, I am supporting. If you're an insurance company and you're saying that you want to, you want to sponsor that insurance for this event with Ronnie, then go ahead and do that. Yeah. Yes, folks. So anybody out there, I see one person said that they will give. I want to thank two persons from the diaspora. And this is the thing that they don't understand. Mia Motley, you will never understand this. You will never understand this because when you come up with these ideas, it's not something that comes from the people. So you will never understand how this works. And that is why you guys will put out the propaganda on us and say we're getting money from overseas sources. You don't understand. All we came on here and said we're going to do this solidarity walk because you, the people, asked for it. You remember you said we want to go and march. You said it. I said, okay. And the moment we agreed on it, I came on here last night, but before the show was done, someone sent 120 something dollars. I don't know if that's US. 120 something US dollars was sent as a donation before the show was up. And I never asked for a cent last night. I am here minding my business today. And another 240 or something was sent via what's it, they sent it, somebody in the US. I don't even know where in the US they are. Never ask. The people are committed, number one, to their country. That's what you don't understand. Those of you who are watching from the BLP and you watch tonight, I know, I heard that people are assigned to watch for me to slip up. They want me to slip up. But you might get some insight. We consult with the people. We listen to our people. We listen to our fellow Barbadians. We humble ourselves and we say to the people, what do you want? How do you want it done? Let's do it together. You don't do that. That's why you get into so much debt. And you don't get the cooperation from the people. So I want to thank those. You know yourselves. I'm sure they don't want me to say, because they don't want me to say their names of those who gave, right? The stage is a 12 by 12 stage that we're going to get. Let me send this to Dave and he can probably try to put this together. I'm giving Dave work, or Michelle. I'm sending to Dave and Michelle. They might be able to put it together. Today I fell into a deep sleep today, folks. Really deep sleep. How can I forget the prayer warriors? Can I tell you, I felt so much prayers today. I know Mr. Clarke felt them too. I felt prayers and lots of love coming from Barbadians today. Who was praying today? I went into a sleep. I got it. You see me smiling. I feel so rested. I feel beautiful inside. I feel so connected to God. My spirit is just so open and beautiful. I said, somebody praying for me. I feel so light. And I did sleep. And I came on here in faith tonight. And I know Mr. Bob is trying his utmost best to join. And we might have Dr. Ferdinand to join. But I am quite fine. I'm going to read your comments. And you know what? I didn't even say good evening properly to you yet. But I'm coming to that. We can do things a little different sometimes. Jacqueline, thank you. I felt them. I felt some sweet prayers and some love. I felt some love from my Bajan people. Oh my goodness. You're all so beautiful and wonderful people. So beautiful. I'm going to tell you something and be real with you all. Let me send this to Dave. Dave, as you know, the insurance, I'm going to tell you how much insurance is going to approximately what the insurance is going to be. And we know already what the truck along with the sound, everything, what that's going to be. Yes. And water, we usually get the water donated. If you want to come, we might have a bigger crowd. If you want to donate a bottle of water, a case of water, that's fine. But the 12 by 12 stage is $720. The 10 by 10 tent is for $175. So we could cut out the $175 if somebody has the 10 by 10 tent. If you have a 10 by 10 tent, then we don't need to rent it from this company. And then they transport the stage pieces for $200. Okay. Insurance is going to be around $200 thereabout for the event, and the truck is $2,000. Okay. So those are our expenses. It would be, if we have leftover, it'd be nice to do a little sign there, a little sign and say, together, we can say something on it, probably we use Together for Freedom or something like that we can be used again. It'd be nice to have a sign, a big sign to say what it is. Somebody might want to donate the sign. And somebody might, just like the person who donated, all those shirts to the loyal opposition, somebody might just want to donate some Stand with Ronnie shirts, some white shirts. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there as they come to my mind, right? So if you want, if anybody wants to donate anything, you message me. And we will just go right ahead, pay the service providers, and have everything ready for you. But I told you something I wanted to say, that sometimes people come to Barbados and they say the people so standoffish and they're not friendly. There's some people who believe that from the different Caribbean islands. But you know what I found? Barbadians, because they are not as extroverted as the other people from the other islands, at some of the other islands, because they're not as extroverted. Sometimes it comes across as being standoffish. Okay, I don't think that's a word, but being aloof. Sometimes that's the impression that you get. And I remember when I came here first, that's what it felt like. But as as I was leaving the school and something happened, I on the road with my son. I used to go to collect him from school when we just came here. And you should see how the people came out of their homes and how they helped, and if you needed directions, or if I got lost, which was that happened a lot, when I just got here. And I've seen how Barbadians have, in their quiet way, been some of the kindest people. Kind, kind. And sometimes the kindness will come with them giving you some cutting comment, you know. That you should have known better. No, no, no. They have something to tell you that is negative, but then they're doing the kind action with what they're saying. Anybody experience that? You're a big woman. You should know not to walk on the road. You see the time of night. And they're quarreling and quarreling, and they're helping you. Am I not telling the truth? Am I not telling the truth? They will do that. Miss Weeks, I don't know what you're doing, because I don't know, you're putting yourself in danger for these wicked Bajans. They don't mean nobody any good. Anyway, here's $100. Go and do the thing. Oh my God. Oh, Tanisha has an excellent idea. I don't know. I have to ask Ronnie what he thinks about that. Did you see what the people were saying? Did you see Tanisha's idea? As you think about Tanisha, anybody ever find that's how Barbadians are kind, right? But they are quarreling with you while they're helping you. But you guys, I tell you, somebody said, Marcia, you're not getting anything. Why are you doing this? You're not monetized. You're not. It is a love is in my heart for the Barbadian people. And I receive that love from you as well. I do. You have the naysayers. I don't worry about that. And the only reason they are pretending that they don't love what I'm doing is because it's not supporting their belief, what they believe in. I think any well-thinking Barbadian will see through what we're doing and see the love of country, the love for the people, the love for the taxpayers, the importance of a strong opposition. I think people are seeing it. You understand? Andrea, I agree with you. I agree with you. Andrea said, I can never say anything bad about Barbadians, because at my lowest, they were always there for me. And for that, I will always fight for Barbados. Some can be harsh, but they mean well. It's true. It is true. They got a tongue on them, boy. They could cut you. Sometimes, at first, I used to say, these people, what's wrong? I mean, everything. I know. And the equivalent for that in Jamaica is people will talk loud and shouting, and they don't mean anything by it. They're just as kind and loving. But with Barbadians, it's this sly, sarcastic, this remark, and it dig you down, deep. But they're helping you, though. They're going to help you. Yeah. Andrea, where are you from? Are you a foreigner, like they say to me? Even those that call me foreigner, they're kind to me. They have been kind. The ones who curse me is the ones who believe that I am not, they don't believe I am saying what they want me to say. But wherever I go, I get that love from the people. And as I'm talking about love, that's what Ronnie is feeling. Ronnie is feeling the love of Barbadians. That's who we are. When we had the Hurricane Elsa, I think, storm, was it a storm or hurricane? Andrea is from Canada, and that's what she's saying, at her lowest, and it's true. And it is true. Ronnie's at his lowest right now, and you're going to see the outpouring of love that's going to come from the Barbadian public. And you know the other thing about Bajans? They love their country, especially those in the diaspora. I find that the Bajans in the diaspora, they express their love for Barbados in such profound ways. And I think it is I tell them this all the time, it's catching. And I think that has impacted me. I think that they show their love for Barbados. I can be wrong. I can be mistaken. I could be wrong, but they show their love for Barbados even more than the people who are here, Bajans who live at home. That's just my experience. And we could not sustain what's happening here without the diaspora. That's another thing that anybody who wants to be leading this country, whether those that are waiting, those who want to in the opposition, any of the parties, whatever, you cannot go forward and not involve the diaspora. You are my experience on this show tells me you're not going to succeed without them. They are not just bringing, it's not finances. I'm not talking about finances. I'm talking about their wealth of expertise and knowledge and experience to leave them out of the rebuilding of this country. You've lost before you started. And they are coming through for Ronnie. The diaspora, they're coming through for Ronnie. They're the first ones to start to donate. We're up to almost, I think then, Dave, if it's 120 US, we would be almost at $500 through the diaspora, unsolicited from the diaspora. Those of you who are joining, we need about 3,007 thereabout, and we will come with the more as the funds money comes in. We will let you know where we're at. And those who are able to donate for Saturday, 10 o'clock, come early, because we like to be orderly, disciplined. If we're late, the police will stand. They could take the permit from us if you're late. You know that? So someone is saying, I'm starting this show. This is not the way I plan to start the show, but, we're flowing. I have a whole thing to talk about the steel houses. I want to go into that. I want to do it. This Tanisha Ford. Tanisha had a brilliant idea. Do you all think that this could work? If I talk with Ronnie, because I don't like to do things, like this on behalf of people without getting their consent, because he might not want people to think that he's using this opportunity to pull money from people. I know I don't know how we would feel about it. So you can let me know Let me hear your thoughts. Any more comments about this idea about selling the shirts and giving Ronnie the funds to help him with his legal fees? Ronnie did not tell me he needed any help with his legal fees. Tanisha, she's just making a suggestion out of kindness. All right. Ronnie did not ask us. For those of you who are watching and then going away that to say that Ronnie asked us to raise money and Ronnie don't have no money. Oh God, please. No, he did not. He did not. This is coming purely from Tanisha. It's the first I'm hearing this suggestion on the show right here. Tanisha, this is in real time. Any other thoughts about this? Let me just leave that a little bit. And while we do that, let me, I've got to call up my people. Cedric Strawn, thank you for joining, Cedric. Mavis Lashley, thank you. Thanks to all the prayers. Thank you, and thanking you in advance, Jefferson, for being there on Saturday to stand with Ronnie. Are you standing with Ronnie, Mildred? Iretha, how about you? And Vernon Garnes, are you going to stand with Ronnie at the Solidarity Walk on Saturday at 10 a.m. right there, Massacre Park? How about Marcia Miller? Marcia Miller, are you standing with Ronnie? Are you going to stand with Ronnie? Iretha, I'm a big girl. How about you? Welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show. Are you going to stand? Lori Bob. Lori, I do that all the time. Sandra Brewster. Sandra Brewster. Are you going to stand with Ronnie? Shirley? Shirley, thanks for that call today. I don't know if it's the same Shirley. Sir Alfred. Sir Alfred, I know you can't be here, but you're locked on. Any donations, feel free to send to help with this. This is a bigger one in terms of cost for us. Matthew B. Matthew, thank you for that wonderful video that you did, Matthew, on behalf of Ronnie. I tell you, you are such a trooper. And I just want to thank you and your supporter. You are good. You show a lot of brotherhood and solidarity with your fellow Barbadians, and I feel that from you, Matthew. And I wish you all the best in your taxi business. Don't forget, Matthew B. You want a taxi? Call me. I give you Matthew B's number. Monica Ince, Beverly Prescott, Jacqueline, you're coming. Jacqueline, you'll be there on Saturday. How about Dalton? I think if this is Dalton, I know this Dalton going to be there, and he'll be praying as well. Hi, Cami. Irita said, we are behind you, Ronnie, 220%. Irita, are you going to be there, though? TT, hello. Hello. Sharon Innes, hello. Marva Hunt. Oh, my goodness. Did I see where's Judy? Where's Judy Jilks? Where's my Judy Jilks? Judy, I don't see your name as yet. I see Taroni there. Hurricane. Mavis Lashley. I hope I'm not missing people. Beverly. Andre Moore. Hurricane Writer. I love that name so much. Judith Ann. How are you, Judith Ann? How are you feeling these days? Yes. Cheryl Young. Sonia Perch. Amar Gibson. I haven't seen this one before, this name before. Aretha, I love it. Aretha says Lady Hitler is on the rampage. You're right. Lady Hitler. She ain't hitting me though. She no Hitler for me. Adrian Hines. Adrian. Listen, why you all let me laugh while brawling on these shows? Because when I see nonsense, Adrian Hines, when you see what I have seen, you would laugh. I told you all that they had to wait. They were not going to say anything until they hear what we are saying, what social media is saying. They were waiting on the show Friday evening. They were waiting on what they heard in case Ronnie said anything. They were waiting on that. So they had to come up with lies. Oh gosh, these people are, no, oh my father. Oh my father, these people are the worst. They are the worst. My gosh. And do what you want to do. But now, I don't, oh gosh. No. You all, Judy Jelks, there you are, Judy. Judy, good evening, Judy. Yes. Okay. All right. We're going to take a little break, and Dave is going to go ahead and play something. In the meantime, folks, will you like and share? Will you like and share, please? Everybody, like and share. Like and share. God bless you.
Barbados, I love you from the bottom of my heart, and not from the heart of my bottom. The announcer!
The announcer brings the stadium to its collective feet. As we reflect on this performance by Ronnie, the announcer Clarke, I have to say this, and I'm going to say it with no apologies to anyone. It is time the National Cultural Foundation decides who's running the foundation and who's running this show. The Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation decided it was not going to broadcast Ronnie's show. There are two large monitors on either side of the stage. And for the beginning of the announcer's performance, it was showing an interview with Admiral and the Hawk. Now that's not only disrespectful, it makes no sense in a national competition. It is unfair, it is unethical, and it is downright rude. And the National Cultural Foundation needs to discover who is running this show. And either it's the corporation or it's the foundation.
Dave, you're finished? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
If I said the government wasting every cent, helping the affluent, poor people don't represent, I could understand why my song get banned. Such a position cannot get much promotion. If I said those 14 Indians working at Kensington who get deportation were really the victim, I could understand why my song get banned. World Cup decision cannot get much criticism, but all I did was use 2 letters to address certain matters. But clearly, apparently, I offended somebody, and at this stadium they unfair me, completely beyond comprehension. They banned me from on television. Take my tune right off the radio station. I hear them crying for defamation, but I know they're wrong. Nothing so in my song, my lyrics too strong. But let them go low. As they sow they shall reap, and I know Jesus don't sleep. CBC, credible balanced coverage. Plain to see last finals night they treat me like garbage. Obviously, it must be stressed to manage. But while them silencing my voice, pirates keeping the multi-choice and I hear it. Do not adjust your set, explain him. If I said we need explanation, how 1.3 million from the mental institution walk out like Trevor Eastman, I could understand why my song get banned. Those in authority must show accountability. If I said I don't feel Sir Alan should get the top position as the brand new chairman of the corporation, I could understand why my song get banned. My finger like it right. Thank God for the few that wise. All I did was use the alphabet to highlight my subject, but misinterpretation of my composition make them do the dog at the stadium. Woo, woo, woo. Completely beyond comprehension. They ban me from on television. Take my tune right off the radio station. I hear them crying for defamation, but I know they're wrong. Nothing so in my song. My lyrics too strong. But let them go low. As their soul shall reap, and I know Jesus don't sleep. CBC, censoring page and culture. Plain to see, if you doubt me, ask Colin Spencer. Obviously, look how they do me, the announcer. But this year, if Linda Waldron got talk, tell she meet me in New York. I hear it. Do not adjust yourself, explaining. Due to legal difficulty, this scrambling. We apologize for announcer omission. Completely beyond, completely beyond, completely beyond comprehension. Well, somebody call me, they want to know if I can let them girls in the pine treat me so. Turning off the camera on me was cold, and then sure it could have never happened before. They say I wouldn't be in the dark if the boss was Clarke. I wouldn't get reprimand if the head was bananas. I wouldn't have to demonstrate if the chief was dead, or even holler for murder if the queen was Melba. So Alison, tell me, Alison, why? Alison. If I said TC and John King, in the pine they were king, my tune ain't playing, but Calypso them independent. I could understand why my song get banned. Job preservation must follow instruction. If I said one hot head, two mouth, try to shut me out. Controversy created because they're begging for it in. I could understand why my song get banned, but in comparison they can't touch Dennis Johnson. All I did was use two consonants to highlight the circumstance. I'm moving forward, then thinking backward, but there'll be no hat trick tonight at Waterford. No, 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 completely beyond comprehension. They ban me from on television. Take my tune right off the radio station. I hear them crying for defamation, but I know they're wrong. Nothing so in my song. My lyrics too strong. But let them go low. As their soul they shall reap it. I know Jesus don't sleep. CBC, clearly biased commentary. Plain to see, last year they were rooting for TC. Obviously, they're vexed because kids I lick shit. And you see the Admiral in a rage, cause I on the real festival stage. And I hear it. Do not adjust yourself, explaining. Due to legal difficulty, this scrambling. We apologize for announcer omission. Completely beyond, completely beyond, completely beyond comprehension. Wet, Roach.
The announcer, completely beyond comprehension.
Folks, I sit here and I watch this, and I went with, I had all kinds of different emotions. I went from being caught up as an artist into the lyrics of the song and the delivery, the artistry of the song, and then I started to feel the emotion, of what the fact that Ronnie has always, the announcer has always been unfair in this competition. And I remember this scenario very well. And what had happened is a song that we played last night to end the show. He did a song called TC. And the reason they could not remove the song from the competition was that the song was so cleverly written. That song was so cleverly written. TC meant the creator. He showed his love for the creator. TC meant the Christians. TC, T and C, the Christians. And he was lambasting the Christians and telling them they're disgusting and then they need to repent. TC meant the I had them listed there. I can't remember all of them, but TC meant everything except the person TC. And they could not do anything. So the only thing that they colluded to do was when this Ronnie was coming over, when in the finals, and everybody was performing, and you stay at home and watch the finals, and CBC supposed to carry it. What CBC did was to show something else while the announcer was performing. And Dennis Johnson, to show you what Starcom is doing right now is so weird. They never had a problem with Ronnie singing as the announcer. Never had a problem with Ronnie singing as the announcer in the Pick Up the Crop finals. This is the evidence. I don't know if anybody who's watching can tell me what was Dennis Johnson's role at Starcom at the time. What was his role apart from an announcer? I believe, wasn't he in some management role? Can somebody tell me? And he, on air, he spoke up on behalf of Ronnie, the announcer, on air, to say that they censored him. CBC censored Ronnie. Dave, was TC 2004 or 2005? TC was 2005, Tanisha. They censored him by not playing the song. But they played something else. While the NCF, because lawyers were involved, they let the song go through because he wasn't mentioning TC as the artist, the way the song was written. It's Calypso. But what we have to understand is that there were a set of people, Barbados, and you're going to read through the lines as I am saying this tonight. Read through. There's a certain set of people, and you will see them online, and they're the only set of people who are rejoicing over Ronnie's firing from Starcom. There's a set of people in the society. And they were offended that Ronnie was singing a song called TC. They always stick together. If you know, you know what I'm talking about. And these are some of the same people that are involved in this thing with Ronnie right now. I am telling you, some of those same people. everybody must rally around them and they can censor who they want. They can do what they want in this country because they have people high up in government that are working with them and are part of what they believe in. Can anybody tell me what Dennis Johnson, because I didn't know, I mean, I guess Dave just decided to play that. What was Dennis Johnson's? What was Dennis Johnson's role at Starcom at that time, guys? Who can look it up for me? Adrian, is there? Adrian Hines, somebody find it for me, please. Yeah, this is a proof that Starcom never had a problem with and that's why they can't say anything else. They had to say that it is because it's work, it's performance related, because then it's his word against theirs. But wait until, based on what I saw and went through, guys, and I'm not saying that in case they could go and look at my phone, but trust me, that is in a place you can't touch it. We know what we know, and everybody going to know that you put out pure lies. You put out lies. I can sit here and tell you that is made up lies, and you all cannot sleep in your bed tonight. You can't sleep well. Some of you are elders in your church. You're elders in your church and telling so much lies. You see why people don't even want to go to church? Some of you lie. The devil is your father. Well, you all are elders. Listen to me. Listen to me. I hate it. All you did is to listen for what we were saying. And because the public, you couldn't come with anything else but something that you think the public will not be able to prove. But I tell you, as I sit in this chair tonight, you and your mountain of lies are going to fall down, and they're going to fall. That mountain of lies it's gonna collapse on you, Starcom. And do what you want to do with me. Your mountain of lies. And talk about you, or some of you in there that doing this nonsense about your elders. Your elders at your church, you lying demon. Don't get me started. Don't get me started, you liars, you lying demons, you. You have lied. I can't call you liars because I don't know who wrote the letter, but I can tell you that what you said there is a lie. About elders in your church, some of you, and telling lies. It's my opinion. I read it. And what I saw in somewhere, this over here that I got, and what I see here, in my opinion, is a lies. Yes. It hurt your feelings? It hurt your feelings? This is what I'm telling you. And I want to tell you something. Let me tell you something, folks. That they are going to stand before God. You will stand before God. And everything you're trying to preserve for that company, you're going to lose. Hear what I tell you. The structures of that company, if your foundation is lies and you are telling lies, let me tell you. Yeah? Folks, like up the like. Yeah? Like it up, guys. And you see, this is why I'm telling you that sometimes, you know, why is it? Sometimes it's the same people that go, that I'm not cursing the church. And if I am, I really am not. But it just, sometimes you go to a business place and you hear that somebody is a you know, this is an elder and all these people. Sometimes you just turn off because you know they're not going to give you a break. You know you're not even going to get a break. Anybody, that's the worst thing that they could have done, was to say that. And I told you, how many of you remembered that I told you? I told you that come Monday, they're going to seek to assassinate his character. I told you that. There is a particular, they are following a particular model here. That's what they're doing. Come Saturday, and Mr. Clarke is going to show you what these people are. You're going to see for yourself. They will not have a leg to stand on. They will not have a leg to stand on if what I am seeing, if Mr. Clarke talks about what I know. So now David's going to play for us again. Dennis Johnson said this of Ronnie Clarke when CBC decided to not play his song during the finals. This man has been suffering at the hands of these people. And it's a particular group of people. You hear what I tell you? The same ones that you see rejoicing on Starcom. A lot of them are heads of different organizations. Yes. Those same people. Dennis Johnson, this is to prove to you that Dennis Johnson and Starcom, they had no problems with Ronnie. Those of you who are saying you don't know if he's allowed to be a Calypsonian and this, come on, cut it out. Dennis Johnson, based on what you guys are researching and telling me, he was announcer, he was producer, technical operator, program manager at Starcom. And hear him address CBC for what CBC did to Ronnie Clarke. And you can just think, if Dennis Johnson was alive today, possibly what he would have been saying. Go ahead, Dave. Thank you.
Barbados, I love you from the bottom of my heart and not from the heart of my bottom. The announcer!
The announcer brings the stadium to its collective feet. As we reflect on this performance by Ronnie, the announcer Clarke, I have to say this, and I'm going to say it with no apologies to anyone. It is time the National Cultural Foundation decides who's running the foundation and who's running this show. The Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation decided it was not going to broadcast Ronnie's show. There are two large monitors on either side of the stage. And for the beginning of the announcer's performance, it was showing an interview with Admiral and the Hawk. Now that's not only disrespectful, it makes no sense in a national competition. It is unfair, it is unethical, and it is downright rude. And the National Cultural Foundation needs to discover who is running this show. And either it's the corporation or it's the foundation.
That's the voice of Dennis Johnson. Sorry about that, guys. The late Dennis Johnson, who was at some point announcer, producer, technical operator, program manager, based on what I'm seeing here. I know that he was more than just an announcer at the station. Right? And you see, we are here remembering Dennis Johnson. We have Ronnie Clarke with us right now. There are some people in this country that they believe they can do anything to anybody and get away with it. Yes. They can censor who they want to censor. Yeah, it's really sad, Vihoy. That was his senior at that time at Starcom. Dennis Johnson would have been in a senior category to Ronnie Clarke. Ronnie Clarke would have been a junior employee to Dennis Johnson. And he was advocating on behalf of the announcer. Not Ronnie Clarke, but the announcer. Let me tell you, the internet can't no lie, you know. That's the thing about, if back in the day, we couldn't do this. We couldn't go and dig up these things and show you. We couldn't do it. We didn't have all of this technology. And that's what they're afraid of. That's what they're afraid of. When Ronnie is finished on Saturday, people going to take their phones and they are going to film it with their phone. And I tell you, you give it time, it will reach every corner of the earth when Ronnie's finished on Saturday. That's the power of technology. And that's why things like the radio will be obsolete. Obsolete. So that's why I can tell you what they are trying to preserve, what you all are trying to preserve will be a has-been. I see people like Candace Owens, and some of you don't like her, and I'm not asking whether you like her or don't like her. I am using that as an example, that her situation. She was fired from the Daily Wire, remember? Fired. Do you know that as of last Friday or last Thursday, I think, Candace Owens was the top podcaster in the entire world, making millions of dollars, regardless of what you think of her. I am just saying, the point I'm making is that she was fired. But you see this technology that we have right now? They're going to be obsolete. They're going to be nothing. That is traditional media. That is going nowhere. I know some of them inside of there want to do what I'm doing. How do I know it? Because them tell me so. There are people inside there want to do what I am doing here because they know that is very much will be no more. So all of that commercial considerations that they are talking about, what they're talking is the big bucks that they're getting from advertising. People advertise with people, with companies, with radio stations, with podcasts, because of the eyeballs that are there, the number of people that are watching. And not with one eyeball. Like the young people telling me about this song with one eyeball or something like that. I tell you. But Mm? The eyeballs that are watching. And so they are in the past. Yeah. They're now fighting for advertising dollars. And I tell you something, creatives, this is what I say to those who are, you're doing podcast, you are using your Facebook, you're using YouTube, you're all of that. Instead of you trying to fight down the other Barbadian that's doing that, we should all be coming to fight together where you can all be paid. And when you are being paid, what happens is that the more eyeballs that come to watch your show or whatever it is that you are doing, you're able to get advertising dollars. And you're taking advertising from places like Starcom. The more eyeballs, and people are not going to want to pay Starcom for any any ads. They talk about commercial considerations. They're going to want to pay the person, whoever has the numbers. So when I say that those structures are falling, they are falling. I'm not, she's speaking negative over. No, it's facts. Look at the trends. Look at what is happening. So they believe that because they can sit down and NCF write them a huge check to hold up their organization, which, by the way, it should be, we should really, it'd be good if we had the freedom of information, or if we could find out how much money did the government spend with Starcom this year. If it is that a government official did call Starcom to complain, how much money did Starcom make off of the government this year for crop over? And it's not just crop over. Is it that they knew that Carifesta was coming up? Did you listen to the radio station when Carifesta was coming up? You think that it was free ads on there? Ha ha ha. What about the board at the NCF? Is there anybody on the board related to anybody that was working in a high position at Starcom? And when I ask these questions, I know the answers. Who was the person that was work on some board at Starcom, whatever the level? I won't say what level. I know the level at Starcom related to somebody at Starcom in a very important role at Starcom. Is it true that the relationship between Starcom and NCF is one that is pretty cozy? Huh? Folks, I tell you, and I found these things out when I was dealing with our case with NCF. I could ask Starcom a question. Was there ever a time when it appeared as though the news concerning this case with Praise Academy was going to be buried? Is that ever true? Is it ever true that the case, when the news came that Gregory Nichols was no longer going to be on the case because our lawyers were able to find out of his conflict of interest on the case. Was there ever a time when the story was going to be buried? And was it due to the relationship between people at NCF and people at STARCOM? La 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 la. La 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 la. I'm going to let Dave is going to play this, and then we're going to talk about friendship and who is best friend with who. Who is best friend with who? This is what we're having happening in this country. What about the story from that about STARCOM? Was there, what about the story? How was that really treated though? The story that was coming out of Washington about the loyal opposition in Washington. How was that story treated on your station, STARCOM? How did you treat that story? I want to know. Yeah? What happened? How was that really treated? I tell you, you've got to, taxpayers, you've got to watch that relationship between the NCF and STARCOM. Watch the relationship between how your taxpayer dollars are being spent. What is the relationship between STARCOM and NCF? Did the advertising budget or spend increase after this song was banned? After Ronnie's song, the National Card Festival song was banned from STARCOM, what happened to the advertising budget or the advertising spend? Was there an increase? We on the outside, we can only ask because there's no Freedom of Information Act for us to see how much STARCOM, how much the government spent with STARCOM and compare it to the years before. Do you hear what I'm telling you, folks? And that is what some people, and they love to flaunt and tell you that they're elder and there are elders in their church and doing a lot of unrighteousness, some of these people. They're elders when they're in their church, and they now, when you go to work, some of these elders in their churches, all of those principles are put out. And some of these elders could join up with others and decide to put out lies on people. Oh, I tell you, I just want you to know what this is telling you is that somebody said it here. The voice of Barbados, somebody wrote, is now the voice of government. right? And I want Dave to thanks Dave for bringing that, because Mr. Dr. Ferdinand, let me see, he's okay. Where are you, Dr. Ferdinand? He's going to come on, and we're going to give him, allow him to say a few words around about the cybercrime bill and the decisions that were made. Are you listening, Dr. Ferdy? Dr. Ferdinand, are you there? Yes, we're going to do that. But Dave, before you do that, I hate to have you all over the place. I saw you had a song. Did you have a new song up first that we could play? And then if you would, yes, thank you so much. Dave, we appreciate the work that you do. Yes, they preach on Sunday and backslide on Monday. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Dave. Thanks.
Good night, Stadium!
Ish, 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 ish. Boom. Ish.
From as far as I remember, I used to like boxing. Two warriors battling in the ring. Left jab, right hook, and uppercut. All in an attempt to become king. Well, politics in Barbados to me is like boxing. And election, a heavyweight title bout. And the whole country waiting to see, anxiously and expectantly, if BLP or DLP get knocked out. In the red corner, the title holder, 3-time defending, no thought of retiring. Owen battle ready, leading the Red Army, looking for love and leaving a legacy. In the blue corner, the tall challenger, opposition leader, but a 2-time loser. And people say defeat again, for him it would be the worst. It is do or die for David, and he must come first. Everybody, when the bell ring, let's get ready to rumble. Ish, ish, ish. Which politician taking a tumble? Will it be the big B or be the big D politically to get hung? We will find out when the bell is rung. When the bell ring and the votes tabulated, whose quest for power will be frustrated? And will David milk his pressure? Then Owen stale pattern. We will find out when the bell is rung. Ish, 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 ish. Ring diggy 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 diggy. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ding dong. You have to be tactically superior when you're boxing. Strong in defense, clinical in attack. Like Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler. Great fighter who epitomized that. Well, politics in Barbados to me is like boxing. On the platform where the candidate share the blows. It is accusation, allegation, party business exposed. Gossip and rumor keeping them on their toes. In the red corner, Chinese labor, hospital disorder, media under pressure, green and landfill, and the overlay for the still. So what is the real total of the World Cup bill? In the blue corner, are the wild boys together? Or is there disunity, as in the time of Sandy? Cause if the them should win and get back in, will we see history repeat? With infighting between faction and clique. Oh, when the bell ring, let's get ready to rumble. Which politician bout to get humble? Will Mr. Sinclair make the crossover, fall over flat on the bomb? We will find out when the bell is rung. When the bell ring and the votes tabulated, whose election deposit money will be wasted? I will Cupid arrow against the sorrow and make she wish she ain't run. We will find out when the bell is rung. Ring ding 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 ding. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ding dong. Ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell. You must have a vision for the future when you are boxing. Your protege must be ready when the time comes. Able to handle pressure, dismiss challenger, if they desire to be the champion. Well, politics in Barbados to me is like boxing. Roebuck and George Street, the party gym. But all those in waiting, demonstrating quality to succeed. Let us look and see who may be the next one to lead. In the red corner, a brilliant lawyer, Deputy Prime Minister, senior cabinet member. So don't mind me talk about master. Mia is number 2. But will she be biting off more than she can chew? Than she can chew, than she can chew. As a leader, blue corner, strange dilemma. So many contender. If they regain power, I see Cameron Lashley, Eswick Seeley, even Jonesy can play. It will be interesting if it swing their way. I say, when the bell ring, let's get ready to rumble. Which politician ego will crumble? Will shades of black keep rooting back from finally winning one? We will find out when the bell is rung. When the bell ring and the votes tabulated, will Bostic get the rest of the houses painted? And will Freundel run Barney election night by the garrison? Oh, we will find out. Tell me when Barbados, when the bell is rung. When the bell is rung. The winner by knockout, the announcer.
Oh my God. So somebody says real artists. Listen, they have lined up some more with these. I mean, it's so good. I'm glad, sometimes we play the artist songs when they have passed on. And I'm so glad we can just sit down and just play some of his songs and just see the quality of this man, really. And a lot of times as Barbadians, we don't stop to acknowledge the skill. The Barbadians talented, and that is what they always come after the creative sector. Always. Wasn't that awesome? Ronnie is one of the GOATs, greatest of all times. Greatest of all times. And he is not afraid to push the artistry. You see how he was dressed there? A lot of them would not come out like that. Ronnie is an artist. I tell you. He is. Well, yes, okay. Dr. Ferdinand is there and Alvin Bob. Oh my goodness, both of them one time. Let me introduce them, and then Dr. Ferdinand will take it away, and then Mr. Bob and I, we're gonna knock it out a little later. But let me bring them into the studio because we have lots of questions, more stuff to deal with this NCF, the Rum, Food and Wine Festival. Nothings with Carol and the NCF down there and Starcom. We got enough things to talk about. Okay, so hang in there. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good night to you as well, Marcia and Alwyn, and to the loyal opposition. Good evening to everybody.
Good evening, Dr. Ferdinand. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Alwyn. It's been a while.
Yes, it has been.
Yes.
Well, I came on
Marcia,
here and I am.
No, no, she's good. She's good. I'm hearing her. You're not hearing her,
No,
Alvin?
no, go ahead. You go ahead. Yes,
Okay.
Yes, you're hearing me better now.
I'm here. No.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know you were having some challenges. I was trying to hold the fort and talk and talk and talk, and but I came on. I had a whole thing to do on the housing project to look at those steel houses, and which I still want to do tonight before we get off. You and I can do that together, Mr. Bob, because I know you don't necessarily want to get caught up in this Ronnie stuff. All of this. I know you have something to say too. So, but I want us to give some time to Dr. Ferdinand, who is taking time out of his away time with he and his wife in Colombia, where his wife is getting ready to do surgery, and we're praying for her, and we really appreciate you coming on this our anniversary of the cybercrime bill, sir. And I started it when I didn't hear you. I started by showing some of the pictures and so on. So I'm gonna turn over to you right now and say, take it away.
Well, thank you so very much, Marcia. And there's just so much that we could share with regards to the cybercrime bill. But today, I understand, is our anniversary. 1 year ago, myself and a small team from Barbados. I can't remember all of the names of the persons, but I'm sure you have all of their names, Marcia, that you can call them. Myself, two young men, wonderful young lady. I can't recall her name at the moment. I forgot to make
Shaquani
it.
Hunt. So they were
Shaquani.
Shaquani Hunt,
Yes.
Don Leacock. Write it down, people.
Yes.
Never forget
Let me
them.
let me write this because I want to
And
make sure I give them kudos tonight as well.
Dave has their pictures. They've had some lovely pictures that we showed at the beginning of the show. Don
Right.
Leacock,
Don,
yeah,
Shaquani, and who was the other one?
Timon Howard.
Yes.
Yes, and yourself.
And we had. I'm just making Timon, just making the notes here because I'm just popping in. Actually just getting in. From our visit to the hospital. We have a very early appointment for her in the morning as well at the hospital. As you know, that is our focus here in Colombia, and she has a lot of tests to do to ensure that she is in a physical state to be able to cope with the operation when they do it. They do not want to have her on anesthesia or anything of that nature that would literally threaten her life because her body cannot cope with it. So we're doing a series of tests, and she starts those processes in the morning, very early. So today would represent a year that we were in Washington. Myself, Don, Timon, Shaquani, Michelle joined us. There's the group. Several of the people you see in that picture came to join us. I think Michelle drove up from Florida, from in Florida, to join us and help us and transport us to and from our hotel to the into that would have been the commission, International Commission on Human Rights. I think it is, if I have it
Yes,
correct.
international. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
IACHRS,
IACR. Yeah,
Inter-American Commission on Human Rights.
correct. And I will say that I don't know if I was surprised, but I went into the room that morning. We arrived quite early, along with our international representative, attorney at law. You would recall his name, I believe, as well, too, Marcia. And we arrived and quite early so that we could make sure we have all of our I's dotted and our T's crossed. And I remember going into the room and taking up our positions in the room. I don't know that they took any pictures while we were actually in the room. I don't believe they would have allowed us to do that. I don't recall. But as we were sitting in the room, myself, I believe Timon and Shaquani was to my right, and I think Don was to my left, or Shaquan to my left, and Ronnie and Don to my right. And we were sitting in awaiting the arrival of the Barbados team that from the government. And I expected to see Barbadians. The representative for the OAS, the ambassador Vic Fernandez, who was at VOB. He came in along with Mr. Hinkson, attorney at law Hinkson. He was the chairman of the Joint Select Committee. And I would have to say, to my great disappointment, and I think people would know me quite well. I'm not racist. I am not color prejudiced, but I do take very seriously the break away from our colonial background. There you will see our attorney. He's the gentleman sitting in the brown suit with the tie on. He was our legal representative there, and he is from an international position. And we were sitting as they walked in, and to my great disappointment, a tall white gentleman from Europe, an attorney at law from Europe, apparently some supposedly big name attorney at law, I don't know if they were trying to scare us or what, walked in to represent the Barbados government. Now, the reason I took umbrage to that, and Alwyn, I know you're there, you're listening in. You can jump in anytime you want to and join me, so please feel free.
Okay.
My challenge was that we had just broken away from the full colonial involvement of Barbados by becoming a republic. We had become independent, we had now become a republic, and I really expected to see a legal luminary of the stature of Sir David Simmons, who of course was the drafter of the bill. And I couldn't think of a better person to represent Barbados than Sir David Simmons. But this gentleman that you see on the screen, supposed to be some outstanding attorney from Europe, was representing Barbados. I would like to know what he was paid in order to come to Washington to represent Barbados.
That question.
Yeah, because we were paid nothing. I will tell you this. The diaspora, people in Barbados, got together and paid our cost to get to Washington, Alwyn. Every one of us, people from overseas, the diaspora in the United States got together, people from Barbados got together and helped to fund. I think they just had a picture there maybe of us. That was the room. To the left, you would see us sitting to the left. You would see the commissioners ahead of you. And then to the right would be the Barbados government team. And I was extremely... I took real umbrage to it because I felt it was an insult and a slap in the face of Barbadians for the government of Barbados to bring a white European colonial master, is how I saw it. And I sat there and I thought to myself, when are we going to get it? When are we going to break away from the colonial mentality that we have promoted continuously in Barbados, as if Barbadian people are not good enough to represent themselves on the international market? This gentleman sitting here, he's a European. He knows nothing about Barbados. I think in one instance he referenced how we were independent for 400 and something years or some nonsense of that sort. Had no idea what we were talking about. Knows nothing. He talked about how politicians are free to walk about Barbados as they like and go and and they go and sit down and talk with the people. And I turned to some of the others next to me and I said, which Barbados is he talking about? Because we don't see politicians really walking around Barbados and interacting with the people, except they're having something like constituency meeting or something like a meeting leading up to an election or something of that matter where they're going to be canvassing or something of that nature. And so I took umbrage to it because I really felt that someone of the stature of Sir David Simmons should have been present and would have represented Barbados considerably better in terms of it. However, this gentleman was there and we made our presentation, they made their presentation, and I believe the conclusion of the commission was that they needed to go back to the Barbadian people before they did anything further. There was a lot of suggestions made that there were lots of meetings with the people in the country. Yes, Marcia, I see that note. Marcia's indicated to me that he was paid over $200,000 alleged to have been paid over $200,000 all in. I didn't get a cent.
For how many days of For how many
What
days?
days? No. What days? We were in there for about 45 minutes. I can't remember the entire time. That was the extent of the meeting. That was it. I don't know how
Wow.
early he arrived or when he
It is
left.
the easiest $200 a lawyer could have made.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
On backs of our people.
I was furious, honestly, and I thought it was a real slap in the face of Barbadians. And of course, the Attorney General made reference to the fact that Barbados is not obligated, which the International Commission there, Inter-American Commission is an advisory body. They really do not have the legal authority, but all of them were very concerned about the fact. And we made the point. I did the presentation. My presentation. Don did a presentation to do with the young people and what you call these influencers on the internet and so on. Taroni also did that, and entertainers and so on. Shakwani spoke from a woman's standpoint, a female standpoint, with regards to the cybercrime bill. And I was really, really very, very annoyed. Nevertheless, coming out of that meeting, the advice was that the government needed to go back to the people of Barbados, to the general public, and have meetings with them. Because I know of no meetings that were held except the Joint Select Committee meetings where I made a presentation. Mr. Neil Harper advised the government against going forward with this cybercrime bill. As a matter of fact, from looking at the facts that I have before me, and I remember making the notes with regards to this very carefully. Mr. Harper referred to the Budapest Convention, which did make provision for certain legislation to be put in place, but they were clear. The Budapest Convention is clear in that it requires the provision for adequate protection of human rights and liberties, including rights arising pursuant to the obligations under the European Convention on Human Rights, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and other applicable international human rights instruments, and should incorporate the principle of proportionality. Of course, we know that in this cybercrime bill, if you offended anyone, and I am just trying to pull a couple of things up here. The Barbados Bar Association, for example, looking at a summary of what they submitted to the government of Barbados, said that the scope of the bill went beyond the protection of the computer systems to possibly enable broader surveillance, which may engage Barbados Data Protection Act and Constitution. And so there was concern there, identity theft, children's protection. The bill lacked anything to do with that. Cyber tourism. These were the representations by the Barbados Bar Association, and there were other submissions that indicated considerably concerns. 12 oral submissions and 48 written submissions were presented and raised questions concerning the matter of criminalization of defamation, where if you offended someone, if you hurt somebody's feelings, if they felt that you were if you felt that you were offended,
right?
And would you believe that even after, Alwyn, after the Joint Select Committee, they made amendments to the bill, increasing the fines from 70,000 to 100,000 Barbados dollars and or 10 years in jail. And these were the things that we went against firmly and strongly. And I want to suggest, and Alvin, I think you would agree with me, that had this bill been passed, Ronnie would be in problems. I dare say Ronnie would probably be in jail.
Yes, because, yes, that's true. You're perfectly correct.
Right, because when you look at things, this is some of the terms. Terms such as annoyance, inconvenience, obstruction, embarrassment, and insult were removed. They removed some of those things. Citizens were still faced with several penalties for causing humiliation, intimidation, anxiety, or substantial emotional distress, all of which remained broad and subjective. This was what remained in the bill. And so we took serious positions on it. And I was amused, as I mentioned last night, I was on for a few minutes, and I can only be on for a few minutes tonight as well, because we have a very, very early appointment in the morning at the hospital. I was amused when the Prime Minister, making a presentation recently in Parliament, spoke about the fact of how You know, she doesn't understand how people could be criticizing and, you know, talking about threats to freedom of speech and freedom of movement and all of that, when we, you know, people are marching all over the place every weekend. They have a march, and but you see, what she did not understand, or what she failed to recognize, is that had that bill passed, we could not be doing what is going to be happening on Saturday had that bill passed. And that is what she failed to acknowledge. So that we have a situation right now in Barbados where, fortunately, we still have the aspects of freedom of speech and freedom of association, which is protected under the Constitution of Barbados and under the International Human Rights human rights as well. These are situations, and as I said last night, you know, Ronnie's situation is regrettable and unfortunate. But I believe, as many of the old people used to say, Alwyn, there's more in the mortar than the pestle.
I agree. Yes.
There's more in the mortar than the pestle. You know, I don't know what happened after he appeared on the show with Marcia Weekes in terms of how the board or the management at Starcom interacted with him. I don't know if they were intimidated by the fact that he had legal representation at that stage and at that point, which he had every right. That is his freedom and his civil right.
Yes.
To have legal representation. I don't know. It is puzzling because, as we alluded to on this show already tonight, Ronnie is no stranger to controversy in terms of calypsos. He has not been afraid to address social issues in his calypsos, as has none of the artists. And I mentioned last night, Gabby, you remember you remember that calypso, Alvin, with "Da Beach is Mine, I can be there anytime."
Ja.
When Henry Jack, remember?
Yes.
When I think Henry Ford was Prime Minister of Barbados, or he was representing the people at the time, something along that line.
Yes.
You remember the Mighty Griner, it was Mighty Griner?
Stay and Mr. T.
And Mr. T, you know,
and stealing there by Serenade.
Yes, I mean, all of this is I call it social commentary.
But I guess at that time, Dr. Ferdinand, there weren't so many thin-skinned people in the seat of the NCF who allow creativity and the issues of the day, that people can address those issues and relate to them.
Yes. No, you're absolutely correct. No, I must be honest with you. You know, I am hesitant at times to make certain statements because of my ministerial role and position, and I caution myself. You know, there's something that my wife always tells me: it's not whether something is right or wrong; it's whether it is wise. So it is not whether I have what I say is right or what I say is wrong. The issue is it wise for me to say certain things at certain times? And I think wisdom is one of the things that is lacking where the management of our country is concerned. There are people who seem to think that Barbados belongs to them. And you know, once you elect them to office, this is my country. I can do it what I want. I am now the boss. I'm now the manager. I'm now the owner. No. You know, when you took the oath at the president's house, it was to serve. And, you know, Alwyn,
Yes.
the word servant does not carry a pleasant connotation for Black people in the Caribbean. I get it. But the reality is you are the people's servant. And immediately my mind goes back to Jesus Christ, who, when he, I don't know how well you know your scripture, but you would recall an occasion in which he took a basin, a bowl
Wash
with
the
a cloth
feet.
and washed
Yes.
the feet of the disciples. You remember that?
Yes.
And you remember when he got to Peter to wash Peter's feet, Peter said, "No way, friend. I have none of that. You can't wash my feet because you are the boss." And what was Jesus's response to him? Jesus looked at Peter and said, "If I don't wash your feet, you aren't a part of me." And he said, "This is the example I'm setting out for you. If you are going to be a master, you must learn to be a servant. If you are going to lead, you have to learn to follow. If you're going to be the head, you have to learn to serve, because that's what you're supposed to do." And what I hear is a lot of rhetoric coming out of the political circles in Barbados that suggests to us that people are in government. There are the bosses. They can say what they like. They can do what they like. And how dare you oppose me? How dare you disagree
Yes,
with me?
you say anything about me, right?
No,
So there's a
sir.
level of arrogance and ignorance
And
as it
arrogance
relates to
and
service.
pride. Yes, and you know, how dare Ronnie write a song and perform a song? And my understanding was that the song was exceptionally well received on the finals night.
In
I
fact, I
wasn't
believe
there.
that is why they have such a bumper crowd.
I believe it probably did. And I think he placed what? He came second or something like that. I don't recall right now because I don't really attend the events. I went there one time. I went. They asked me to come and open the event in prayer, and I went and I prayed, and I don't know if the prayer had any effect or what, but I was polite enough to accept the invitation and to do what they asked me to do. And when I pray, I don't pray to the people performing it and the people who organize. I pray to God for the Lord to ensure we have a safe environment. And for most of the time, our lyrics and so on are not nasty, stinking, vulgar, cursing, violence, nothing of the sort. There's a prime minister making her presentation in Parliament, and I will
Ronnie was
even
third,
I
actually.
don't know if
The announcer
I
was
don't know
third.
Dave, I don't know if you have the section, if that's what you have queued up. If you have that section in which she refers to the marches and talks about what I mentioned, play it and let the people hear what she said. I don't know if that was the one that he had set up there. He'll come back on it.
They allege that
There we
Barbados is part of some global conspiracy and that there is religious suppression and governmental dictatorship. Oh dear, Mr. Speaker. Their latest thing is that the cybercrimes bill is intended to silence dissenting voices. Yet they hold their online programs. No fear, no interference. They speak. No fear, no interference. They march without interference. Every other Saturday, you see them all through from Fontebelle, right through Broad Street, turn on the bridge, come right back around, no interference. Mr. Speaker, they are freely spewing their conspiracy theories.
Stick a pin.
It is utterly
Stick a pin, Dave. Thank you. I really don't want to hear anymore. What conspiracy theories? The Prime Minister is a part of the global elitists. She is the person who sits in Davos. She's the person who attends the World Economic Forum. And everybody knows that the Barbados Trident ID is a part of the whole movement of digital ID formation around the world. We are seeing the impact. And as a matter of fact, in his submission to the Joint Select Committee, Neil Harper highlighted how the cybercrime laws were silencing dissent in the Middle East, how they were restricting freedom of expression online in Thailand, how the Supreme Court narrow scope of sweeping cybercrime bill in Sri Lanka, controversial internet safety laws coming into force, digital rights in Thailand, Philippines, rapier verdict, a blow to media freedom. All of this Neil Harper highlighted in his presentation to the Joint Select Committee. And we are seeing right now, and I don't know if you heard of it, Alwyn. I think it was in was it Malaysia, one of those countries over in the Far East, where nearly somewhere in the ballpark of 4 or 8 million accounts were closed because the people refused to take the digital ID.
Yeah.
Do
Yes, you're
people
correct.
realize? Do people realize that tonight, as I am speaking, in Victoria, in Australia, in Victoria, You cannot pray for anybody who feels under pressure in terms of psychologically or anything of that nature. You cannot pray for them if they are transgender, homosexual, lesbian, or anything of the sort. You cannot pray for them, even if they come to you to ask for prayer. The only prayers, Alwyn, you can check it, Alwyn, and verify if I'm telling the truth or not. The only prayers you can pray in Victoria are those approved by the government. Now, when I made my presentation to the Inter-American Commission, this is what I said to them. I made the point because they were talking, the bill was talking about substantial emotional distress. And one of the Christian doctrines speaks of the matter of eternal punishment. You know, Alwyn, as Christians, we talk about heaven and hell.
Yes. Yes.
And hell is not a pleasant subject. It can be very disturbing. All right? And I indicated that as a preacher, if I went to preach and I mentioned this, it could cause a person to have significant or substantial emotional distress, and as such, they could initiate legal action against me. And if I'm convicted, I would be fined 70,000. Well, I told them 50,000 US dollars, which was 100,000 Barbados, and or 10 years in jail for preaching the whole gospel. And this is why I am disappointed in our churches not getting out here with us and marching, especially with regards to the cybercrime bill, because some of our hymns, some of our songs we use in worship, Alwyn, can open us up to charges of intimidation or anxiety. For example, there's a hymn, there's a fountain filled with blood drawn from Emmanuel's veins. Someone could claim that that reference is emotionally disturbing. Another hymn speaks of Jesus being nailed to the cross. So are we now going to be so self-censored where our songs are concerned that we can't even sing songs in church? And this is the extent when the Prime Minister talks foolishness about the cybercrime bill and the impact of the cybercrime bill, she better go and read it. She better go and see what the cybercrime bill actually has contained in it. I wonder if she's aware of all these bills and what is contained in them. And that was the presentation that I made, and all of us made in terms of our submissions to the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. And as a result of that presentation, the government of Barbados had to pull back that cybercrime bill. And I want people to be aware of the fact that had individuals, if we had not done what we did, where it is concerned with this, with that cybercrime bill, that there were people today in the context of things like what Ronnie has gone through, and I think the other night too, Marcia, you had on Apostle Linroy Scantlebury, and he was talking about his experience during COVID. Where they tried to arrest him and lock him up as well in terms of that. So people need to understand that this situation here with Ronnie, I don't believe is a small matter. I think it must be taken very seriously. Like I said, I am not going to get into matters to do with his contract and arrangements and so forth with Starcom. I also want to remind people that Starcom is Trinidadian owned. And I wonder if there was any communication out of Trinidad to Starcom as to any decisions that they would have had to make. I wonder if there was any communication from any of our governmental leadership to the government of Trinidad or to the people in Trinidad who would have to have their licenses renewed in Barbados. I don't know. I'm simply asking questions with regards to these matters. And so I really think that we must be very vigilant. We have to examine, not simply because it's a Barbados Labour Party government. I am neither a member of the Labour Party, the DLP, the APP, UPP. I am a citizen of Barbados who will fight for the freedoms and rights in my country, because when I'm dead and gone, my children will live here. my grandchildren will live here, and I want them to live not under the influence of any despots who will want to take away their freedoms of expression, freedoms of speech, and freedoms of association that are protected by our Constitution. And so I want to thank you, Marcia, because you were one of the people significantly behind letting us get the opportunity to go to Washington. I had the distinct honor and distinct privilege of leading that team. And I thank God for the opportunity to be able to present and represent the people of Barbados before the Inter-American Commission, so that the rights of our people can continue to be protected.
Yes. Well, Dr. Ferdinand, I once again wanna thank you for taking that position, last year to lead the team to Washington, and did such an amazing job. And so, on behalf of Barbados, I want to say thank you to you and the team, and thanks to those in the diaspora. And we've been talking about them.
Yes.
I
Yes.
talked about them at the beginning of the show, and we will continue to do so. I think you have done an amazing job, and we wish you all the very best there in
Thank you so
Colombia.
much.
We're sending lots of love and lots of
Thank you.
prayers. Lots of
Thank you so
prayers
much.
over
I
your
can
lovely
tell you,
wife.
I can
And
tell
so,
you, my wife is deeply appreciative of it. Whatever,
yes,
you know, she always says to me, whenever you're speaking from in the aspect of finances, just remind the people that every little counts. I think you have a saying in Jamaica, every mickle make a muckle, or something along
yes,
that line.
yes,
And my mother used to make the statement, look after the cents and the dollars will take care of themselves. So
yes.
she wants to, on behalf of her, I just want to express our gratitude for whatever assistance persons have been able to contribute. And thank you most importantly for your prayers. Thank you so very much.
God bless you. God bless you.
God bless you.
Pastor. And give her a big kiss and hug from
Oh,
all of us. Okay.
that will be my pleasure.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
God bless. Good night
God
to all, and
bless.
love you
Bye-bye.
all. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, wow. It's always a pleasure to have Dr. Ferdinand on. And I'm so happy he was able to come on. And as somebody said, for his stellar contribution tonight to the show, and to what he has been doing in the past with the show. I told you that Glenn Murray is getting better. He had his eyes checked and had a minor operation in his eyes. And so he told me yesterday that he's getting better. He says, Marcia, I'm getting better. He's always so positive, Mr. Glenn Murray. And we're praying for him as well. And we can't wait to have him back on the show. Miss McLean, I did reach out to her tonight, but based on what I had envisioned to do, it would have been a bit too sudden for her, in terms of getting home, getting dressed, and being ready to come on in the early for me to deal with some of the other issues, so that she's not involved in the issue with Ronnie. As I said, I did not want it to come across as this is being used as a political football. And we know Miss McLean doesn't do that, but she's very aware of that, and that's how gracious Miss McLean is. And anybody who says that she tries to use things to her advantage in terms of her party, that's a lie. And I will come on here, and the same way I defend Ronnie, Miss McLean is the kind of person that I can defend when it comes on to those kinds of things, because that's not who she is. And she even said to me, Marcia, it's a delicate thing. I don't want any even semblance of anybody thinking that this is being used as a political football. And she bowed out on Sunday. So when this calms down, she'll be all ready for us. Okay. But so as it is, nobody was with me. So I just went and just, was pulling and doing from different segments together. Right. But people are out. Stephen Strickland is not in the island. And we have from from Joe's River. The Joe's River case is in court now. They are their first day in court today. And Victor Lewis called me tonight to give me an update, and he'll be going to court tomorrow. And that's the citizens bringing the government to court, bringing actions of the government, right? They are scrutinizing those actions in court. The citizens, another case. And that is happened today, November 10th and November 11th, all these anniversaries. And so that's happening with the Joe's River case is in court. And so when we come on here, we're not joking about, this is not a joking about business here. This is real stuff that we're talking about when we're talking about, agitating, educating, motivating, mobilizing, agitating on behalf of Barbadians. Well, I see Mr. Bob has come back in. And before we get back to the Ronnie situation, oh my goodness, can we do this, Mr. I want to touch on some housing matters, Mr. Bob. I want to touch on some housing matters. I know you have stuff to say about Mr. Clarke's situation. I know you're edging. You got a few words. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What I can say about this situation is that we have to watch it carefully. And when our country gets to a stage where those persons who are the enablers of the present government, the well-paid influencers and bloggers, and they become offended, and that would lead to a situation where any person can be without a job to support themselves and their families. We have reached a very sad state in our country. And if the announcer, as a Calypsonian, was fired from his job because of a song which addressed issues in Barbados, then we are at a sad state. I don't think that our Calypsonians are persons who only sing. They also have jobs in government. What is it saying to them? That I have to be careful what I write, what I sing about from here on in? If this is allowed to go unchecked and not challenged, what does it say to the other Calypsonian out there who use that medium to bring attention to the issues of facing Barbadians every time? What are we saying about our crop over? We have changed so much. Are we now getting rid of what we call social commentary? Is that the next thing to be taken away from crop over? So this, what has happened to the announcer, presents a lot of issues for the future if we as Barbadians do not speak up and support. So I am saying to every artist out there, whether it's on the NIFCA stage, whether it's on the crop over scene, whether it is at Independence time, whether it is at any time of our cultural history that we're presented, even our poetry or rhythm poetry, who tend to put the poets who use that me to present issues facing us, what are we saying to them? Especially when we work in government or we work in private institutions that have connection with government, and they will say to us, "You're offending one of our donors," or whatever the NCF was referred to. What does it say to every other artist? And this is a serious situation that we find that have not presented itself. And I believe that any right-thinking person will speak up and say that this is enough. This is not right. And what I see on social media, or we have some well-paid influencers and bloggers presenting a case that the announcer should be fired, and they are collecting money under the table. They are holding down 2 jobs and getting paid under the table. Some may have businesses that pay themselves in some of the organizations. And you present a case for a Calypsonian who is presenting a topic of the day, adding value to our Calypso competition. And you're going to present a case online for this. And people are saying, stay away from it because it's political, that they don't want to make it political. It is political. But the only people that can be political in Barbados is the Barbados Labour Party. So if any person from another party or any organization says anything, oh, you're making it political. But when they speak about it, when they go on social media and present a case for his firing, it is not political. And I'm saying to all of them that are making a case, your turn will come, because you're not some part of us, we don't agree all the time. And you may say something that offends, and you will want some person to stand in your corner. So I'm saying to all right-thinking Barbadians, this is not just about the announcer, it is about all of us having the right to speak, to perform, to sing, to present issues as we see them. And that is my take on it.
Mm-hmm. Very well said, Mr. Bob, because as you're saying this, as you're speaking, I thought about the rights that we have under the Constitution, the freedom of association. And even with that, there are lots of people in Barbados, and everybody knows the truth, that they are afraid to be seen with, say, for example, the DLP, because they know that if they're seen with the DLP, that they are going to be victimized in some way or the other. Let's stop pretending. Everybody knows that.
Yes, you're correct, because we have a situation. I'm going to tell everybody about it. We have a situation, the person should know better. We have a situation where we are now celebrating the gathering stage of St. Michael. And we have a St. Michael representative in the house telling persons in their community that we are going to give you money to put on sporting events, but you can't be seen with any DLP person around it. That is what we can't come to.
I know that of a fact. And what you're saying too, it's where I heard of a situation in a particular constituency where, they were putting on a football event. It's a community organization. They have a board, or a committee, and they're putting on a sporting event, since you're talking about sporting, and they wanted to bring a known cricketer, right, to be the feature, as a personality. So they brought one. And so the committee decided on that. And, there was a member of that committee who was BLP and said, you know what, I have to resign my position to use a national figure that's associated with the DLP at a sporting match, just to increase, just a visibility of the event. And that board member and that committee member had to resign, because if he did not resign, all the pickings that he was getting, he was going to, they said they were pulling it away from him. This is real thing that we're telling. And go ahead, Doctor. Go ahead.
We are at a sickening stage of our politics and our governance in Barbados. And we, the people, have to do something about it. We got a serious decision to make. We have a serious decision to make in the next election, because this is not what Barbados is about. We will have government, and we must have opposition. And when you get to the stage that you're going to say to those opposition persons who support opposition or support opposing views, that you should keep your mouth shut and have nothing to say. And if you say anything, you're going to lose your job. If you dare speak about the government in power, that is not what we know. That is not what we're. How can a Barbados Labour Party government at this point in time, when there were also opposition on more than one occasion, be allowed, when they're in opposition, to roam freely all over this country? When they were in opposition, they organized the biggest marches. And you tell me today you will get up in Parliament and curse a march, some person who's bring not education or curse a program, or be offended because they're marches? This is what you ask the Barbadians to allow you to give you a vote to do? We have to say that is not what we elect you for. And tell the Prime Minister she's gone too far. And the enablers and the influencers that they have who are collecting money, we are more than them. And we can't allow them to influence our position. They are being paid. I want us to remember as people, when we read what they post, they are being paid and they are earning their keep monthly. It has nothing to do with any of the masses' livelihood and the ability to go to the supermarket. They are paid to tell us that what we see in the supermarket is not real. They are paid to tell us, ignore what is happening in the streets with our young people. They are being paid to tell us that what is happening to Ronnie is right. It is not political, it is right. And if we as the majority would allow persons who are getting a few $100s for them and their families to allow us to sell off our country or keep it in the hands of the Barbados Labour Party, I am so sorry for us.
Very much so, very much so. And, you know, folks, I'm just going to go with the flow. I had a full thing research on the steel houses to present tonight, but we have other times. We're just going to continue tonight on this trajectory. But yeah, we had a whole thing on the steel frame houses already, you know, ready. But I don't think we're going to be able to do it in the time. Dave, there is Dave, if we can, there's something I want to play concerning Ronnie. And that's what, you know, this particular video that you're going to play, this is 2024. All right. This is Ronnie on at the start of Crop Over 2024. And this was before there was any, he had put up on, remember I told you in July 2024 that he had put out a post saying this is what his song was going to be. So this, if it's at the start, it would probably be about May or so of 2024. And this is him along, and I'm sure that's Carol over there on the left, the right of him, the left of us, right? And this would have been before the allegation is being made that a call was made by a government official Ronnie's title of his song, the title. Just the title of the song, not the lyrics. So let's play this, Dave.
Carol. Protocol being established. Let me wish you a happy Crop Over. It's a blessing, it's a privilege, and it's an honor to be here. I do love Crop Over, and I participate in various ways. We were challenged with the task of compiling 50 songs across the various categories of music, especially competitive categories in Crop Over, namely social commentary / pickety crop repertoire, sweet soca as it became known, power soca as it's now called, and bashment soca. None of the songs were winners in the official competitions of Crop Over. And an artist could not be represented more than once in that list of 50. And if that artist was the lead vocalist of a group, then that would cover both considerations. We literally went from A to Y. We went from the creator of one of the most impressive, impactful tributes to women in any genre, anywhere in the world, from Adonijah and Woman, to, there was no Junior Monarch at the time, but I'm sure he would have won if there was, Youngblood.
Yes.
Sport Billy. And he has developed into one of the most incredible, versatile, and distinguished musical and performing ambassadors of this country. Therefore, once Gabby, Bag, Griner, Rasaili had one song of their vast repertoire selected, that was it. Very difficult choice. Gabby has Calypso from 1982, which he didn't win that year. The gentleman that was here and dancing so well on stage, he won that year. But there was also Boots, which didn't win. There was also Hit It, that didn't win. Outside of Griner's 7 Road Marches, plenty of songs coming into consideration. But he produced in 1986, after coming second to Rasaili, who won Road March to Spring Garden on Fire, the anthemic Bajan Yankees, which really encapsulates everything about Barbadians in New York, in the United States, in North America, coming to Barbados and going back, or where our musicians go there and perform. We had the great Carew, the late great Carew, Bongo, Take It or Lump It, Holly, the Poster. And each of these songs in their own right creates a vision and an image of when they were debuted, when they grew during a festival, and when they continued to be exposed and appreciated in later years. It wasn't an easy task. What it has done is whet the appetite potentially for 50 social commentaries, which include the winners this time, Sweet Soca, which include the winners, Power Soca, which include the winners, and Bashment Soca. And we've got younger artists represented, Mikey, Marsville, Lorenzo, and it gives you the opportunity to create your own list, to take in, to take out during the course of the festival. We would welcome that, and we certainly thank the National Cultural Foundation and Mr. Mark Messiah for being an integral part of that exercise.
Now, this is important, Mr. Bab, because for us to show this, that this now would have been just at the start of 2024. By the end or towards the end of Crop Over 2024, the start of Crop Over 2024. And by the end of Crop Over 2024, the end of July, August, is when the announcer decided that he was going to sing about, because there were many issues that the Calypsonians were having with the NCF and Carol Roberts. And Carol Roberts came out at the end of 2024 Crop Over to say how terrible the Calypsonians are, and their lyrics, that it's not the exact words, but that basically they were not becoming. It was not at the standard that it's supposed to be at. So here comes Ronnie, who is also part of BACA, who would have known some of the challenges that they had to go through as Calypsonians backstage. No lighting, terrible conditions, working conditions. The treatment was horrible. And so he decided they're not getting any way with Carol at the National Cultural Foundation, decided to write about what they were going through. That's it. That was it. And by the time he put up the title, it is being alleged that somebody from an entity called people at Starcom about it. And that's why I'm asking, putting it out in the open, for them to be able to say what happened between this, the beginning of Crop Over and the end of Crop Over. Right? So that is really the question. That is really the question that we have to be asking, what really happened. And you know, Mr. Bob, the other thing is this, and viewers, we have 15 minutes. And you know what? On Saturday, you want to hear the middle, the beginning, the middle, and the end of this? Come to the march, the solidarity walk. We're calling it a solidarity walk. Together for freedom. Stand with Ronnie. You cannot silence a Calypsonian and expect the people to remain silent.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, November 15th, 10 a.m. Right there at Massey. We're going to start on time. All right? We need you to come, be there and on time. All right? The speaker is going to be Ronnie Clarke himself. The announcer. I don't know who's going to show up. Sean Carter from backup. That's the Barbados Association of Creatives and Artists.
Right.
Davida Maynard Holligan, an attorney at law. She's not even Ronnie's attorney, but she knows, she's seen this situation, and she said, Marcia, I want to speak there. Okay? And be assured that this is going to be unprecedented, Mr. Bob.
Yeah.
He's not going to hold back anything. He's going to fill in all. You see, I'm asking questions. He's going to fill in. Mm-hmm. He's going to present the answers, because there's something that I'm sure he's going to be able to answer, and which is this: that you're a teacher, right?
Yes.
And the reality is this: if they had a problem with his performance, if the issues that he had poor or unacceptable performance, was he issued warnings by the company about performance? You see? And that Mr. Clarke is going to be able to fill in those blanks for us.
He performed all in the tent. The song became extremely popular in the tent. So why at that stage was it a problem?
That's it. Now all of a sudden, because they are presenting, is it that they're putting stuff out there in the public that we can't prove? Because the other things that they heard what we were saying. Is it that they heard what we were saying and now say it was because of poor performance? And it is because they said serious. Remember the first thing that came out? It said serious misconduct.
Listen to me. They write that. Look, then I saw was serious. I remember the letter written to me as a teacher. I committed a serious act. That's what they write. And I should be dismissed immediately from the teaching service. So they write that. That is how they write. So they're going to point to the whole thing started because of this song. We know that. So anything else that they write, they're trying to cover their backsides. If you had a problem with how he was performing his duties, he had warning letters. Was he called to meetings? So you're now trying to give the public the impression that it's not about this song or even appearing on your show to defend the song. Because when you see some of the bloggers write and would give them their fed information to put out there, and the information that one blogger was given is that he made an error by he got trapped on your show. They give them information to feed to the public, to cover the tails. When that does not work, they switch to something else. But we know, but I'm saying that this situation has more far-reaching effects on the Barbadian, the ordinary Barbadian in the street, and those persons who go to work in public, whether private or public. And if you go to work in a private institution who favors the government, you have to be looking over your shoulder. And if you're in government and you want to keep your pay, or you want to get your contract renewed, what people say, you have to take a lot of humps and grumps. Because you know that if you dare say anything against the government in your interests, that is how you're going to be victimized in this country. How did we get here? And why are we here? And why are we allowing it as Barbadians to happen to us? For people who begged us for a vote. You understand that they came to the public and begged for a vote in 2018 and 2022? They begged and they prepared to do it again. So I am saying to us that these things that we see happening can mushroom, if we don't nip it in the bud, they can mushroom into something that is so frightening that we have to walk around. For us to work, for us to eat, for us to live in our country. We can't say anything about me and Motley or the BLP. These people crazy. No, we can't allow it. We can't allow
we
this.
can't. And this is very interesting, because as I look at this case here, the more I look at it, and I'm looking forward to what Mr. Clarke is going to say on Saturday at this this solidarity walk, because the more I am, and I'm eager to hear what he has to say. The more I look at it, I'm saying that, can you imagine if the cybercrime bill was in effect, if it had gone and become law, Ronnie would be in jail tonight.
Certainly he could pay the $100,000.
But remember, hold a minute, that people don't realize that it is and you know,
or both.
It can be both. It can be 100,000 or 10 years in jail, or 100,000 and 10 years in jail. And they're saying this was such a serious misconduct. What are the possibilities that it could be that he could be in jail? It's not far-fetched. This is serious, and this is why what is happening to Mr. Clarke here, guys. I was thinking about the Montgomery bus, you know, in Alabama. You remember that?
Yes.
The Montgomery bus boycott, yes. Right? When that one woman, Rosa Parks, decided to sit down in the bus that day and not move. Not move. You see, what we have to look at is the fact that how the people in that area, that time, how it worked, Mr. Bab and viewers, because as you read the history of it, thousands of people moved as one. You see, they had the same message. So though they were not the person in the bus, They identified with the person in the bus.
They understood it could have been them. Yes.
They
Yes.
say that again, Mr. Bob.
They understood that that person could have been them.
And that's what's not happening here in Barbados.
No, it is like this. It is like this cutthroat approach to life. How can we were always known as Barbados as our neighbor, our brother's keeper. We were always known in Barbados as a good neighbor who will share with each other. The neighbor's children cannot go hungry if we have extra breadfruits in the tree. I know my mom cooked and then put in anybody, but when she finished cook and some person passed, they got some of it. But you know they will say, I am put in, but I take care of.
Mm-hmm.
That is how we operated. But now we have a situation in Barbados where everybody seems to be grabbing and they're holding here for themselves. With little, it doesn't involve me, so let me stay out of it. That is not the Barbadian way. And this government has promoted it because it serves them to divide and rule this country at such a stage that if I'm getting something, let me hold on to it. And don't bother about the other person.
Yeah. And basically that's what's happening here. When I saw somebody come on in the comment section and said, let the man move on and forget about this. Can you imagine if the community did not come around Rosa Parks? And that's the thing. And we talk about, the Montgomery bus boycott, and you can now go to America.
Yes.
And you go to America and you can sit your black self down
anywhere.
You sit your black self, I'm black, your black self down on a bus beside white people. And you are now talking about let Ronnie, let him forget and go off in the sunset.
No, you're telling me, I understood. Am I understanding that he will not be compensated for the 25 years or 20 plus years that he was there?
But that is what it appears that they're trying to do. And I'm
this
saying
is so evil.
It's evil, but this is what I am saying, that if Barbadians understand this, understand the power of unity. The power of unity will move the terror from among us.
Yes.
The power of unity will drive out tyranny from among us. The power of unity will drive out dictatorship from among us. The power of unity will push back on the censorship of people and the taking of our free speech. That's what the power of unity will do. And that is what happened with the Montgomery bus boycott. You understand? They came together. They had one message. What is the message that we are going out there with? What is the message? We want free speech in Barbados. We want fair treatment. No censorship. Understand that. That's why together we are coming together as one. And we are walking together for freedom in Barbados, freedom of association. Why are people being maligned and victimized by this government if they're aligned to any other party that is not their party?
Yes.
There is a problem. You could do all you want and say all you want in this country. Mayor Motley must understand. It is the truth. Your own people are afraid of associating with any group that is not your group. There is a problem. That's why together we are crying out for freedom in this country. That's why the people who love Mr. Clarke are still afraid of coming out to hold his hand, because
the artists, and you see, and this is what they've done. They've commandeered the artists. So they got, you see a certain group of artists sing for them.
Yes.
And they cannot associate with this march, you know. I dare any one of them
They
to show
can't.
their faces. No. But you know, they have to toe the line. You cannot exist as an artist like that. You cannot exist. When one of your brothers are being treated this way, and because you are getting a little extra or working on a retainer contract. I know that happened in the last election with the Democratic Labour Party, where none of them could have signed any song. You can't find none to perform at any cultural event for the Democratic Labour Party. That is what we came to.
And these are the things,
but Marcia, if all of them would decide that get on, that even those that sign at their conference sign the song that they had, that you put some lashes in, that you twist up and tear up and rip up, I'd probably hear it now.
Yeah. Michelle did that.
If all of them decide, no, this is not, and decide, no, we have to stand with Ronnie because it affects us. What are they gonna do for all of them? Then no one to sing for them. You understand? But that is the, as you said, the power of community.
And as we close, I want to say, guys, that this walk is not, it's not about one person alone, you know.
No.
Because you know you're experiencing it. If you live in a country and you're afraid to say the political party that you want to support, you find that you're afraid to tell people that I support the DLP, or I support NNP, or I support Lynette's party, or the APP, or any other party. If you find that you are afraid to do that, there is a problem, because the Constitution says there should be freedom of association.
Right. Yes.
And people are afraid to associate. And they are lifting up Mr. Clarke and putting him up on a tree and lynching him in the middle of town for everybody to see, so that they will not. Don't you dare associate with the wrong people, because you will be lynched. That's what they are saying. Ronnie is the spark, but the true fire is the people's rights. So the artists need to come out. Journalists
need to come
lawyers,
out.
church leaders, influencers. Ask yourself the question, why are they moving the reason? Why they keep changing and adding things?
Yes. But even the journalists, when they write any story, they got to be vet. They have to vet it that it don't offend the government. What is wrong with speaking the truth?
You see,
Marcia, I don't know.
Yeah. It is a kind of selfishness. It's a selfishness that, has us where we are at right now. Yes. It is that level of selfishness that somebody could come on here. We have other things that we want to talk about, but this is what is current. We have PowerPoints. We have research that has been done. Right? But it is important, folks, we don't miss this moment, and that we are able to put it in the context of the cyber crime bill, which is, we are celebrating that cyber crime bill. 1 year that people went to Washington on your behalf, trying to protect your rights. And here it is. This man is here, and you could tell that they know they're telling lies. They know they're telling lies. That's why they keep changing. The story keeps changing over and over, the story is being changed. And yes, Angela, we are going to pray. But the Montgomery bus boycott that allows you and I to go and sit down, our black selves in on the buses in America, was not solved only by prayer. And I know you couldn't be saying that you're not saying that we're only to pray, but we're not going to only pray. It's not going. We did not get the cybercrime bill into the garbage by praying alone. It was action. We had to raise money, get on a plane, get to Washington, organize all of that, get a lawyer to work free for us. All of that had to happen. Mr. Bob, I'll give the last word to you, sir.
I'm just going to say that this situation has been dominated the news as it relates to the announcer / Ronnie is a wake-up call to every single Barbadian. You have to be strict guardians of your freedom of association and freedom of speech. And if one person among us, is treated this way, it should offend all of us. Because tomorrow we can be in a similar situation. And we have to be guardians of our democracy and our freedom. And I'm hoping that those persons who feel strongly about it will stand up and show. Because this is a moment where we have to say to those persons in the private sector, in government, that this is not the way to treat a fellow Barbadian. And I'm encouraging everybody to turn up to the march, or let me see, the solidarity walk in solidarity of this situation.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Bob. And Angela Knight, very good word there to end on, prayer. And I continue to ask everybody to pray for Mr. Clarke. As I said to you today, I literally could feel the prayers surrounding me, Mr. Bob. I tell you, I could feel the love of Barbadians. And I say there's a scripture that says perfect love drives out fear. And so everybody, you are professing your love of Mr. Ronnie. You love what he does. I say, let the love drive out the fear of coming out. I know the reason some of you don't want to come is because of the fear of association. But we do have, it's your freedom to associate with whoever you want to associate. That is it. It's your constitutional right. And we have to talk about that on Wednesday. Freedom of association, how important that is. Get out there and choose who you want to associate with. You understand? And so I'm not going to keep talking because Mr. Thing has the last word, but the prayer, Hurricane says pray and fast and walk out the faith. Okay, so come on, everybody. Ronnie is going to be out there. We are going to be out there with him, We're out there with him. We're holding his hand. We're showing him love. And our love is going to overcome the fear that we have of this government. We are coming out and we're defying the fear. Guys, those of you who can pray about that fear. We're breaking the spirit of fear over the people. Dolores, all of you prayer warriors, come on. Let's break the spirit of fear over Barbadians. In the name of the Lord. God bless you all. Mr. Bob, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes.
I know.
Yes,
I was trying to
I tried. Yes.
And of course, Dr. Ferdinand. God bless you all. And we're going to see everybody, God willing, on Wednesday. Over to you, Dave.
Good night, everybody.
These are my white shoes. Homosexuality and prostitution, they want me to cool. Heated debate in the nation about the criminalization. Quick response from the AG to the remarks of David Cameron. Well, the obvious interpretation of the UKPM's position was government would change the law on the practice of sodomy, but they openly so inclined, but obviously not of sound mind. Want Popsicle and Gabby to marry and not leave each other behind. Them blind, so tell them go so with the boxy theology, promoting sin and allowing immorality, condemning heresy, perversion and nudity, nastiness and gross indecency. So we must teach the children the right way and tell them you cannot be born gay. And Almighty God, the giver of life, created man and woman to be husband and wife. He never condones such slackness, so it's incumbent upon me to impress, without fear or favor, reject homosexual behavior. These are my white shoes, TC does not wear them. Sports, no sports. Could you imagine two first ladies in a narrow coat, or in the church behind the pastor, his other half a man a disaster, saying praise the Lord, and the church applaud. Now people call me fundamentalist, idiot, bigot, prejudice, out of touch with style, modern values and reality. Titty, but if they would repent, seek salvation, read the book of Romans, all of chapter 1 is, then they would see I'm not as stupid as they portray me, just fiery. So tell them go so with the boxy theology, manipulating the media carefully, condemning heresy, perversion and nudity, undermining the role of the family. So we must teach the children the right way and tell them you cannot be born gay. And Almighty God, the giver of life, created man and woman to be husband and wife. We don't want the same-sex union. The Bible says it is an abomination. So let us together reject homosexual behavior. I hope you understand where I am coming from. I believe in compassion, but not compromise. It's not a fight for our human rights, but between darkness and light. Don't compare it to black and white. Don't be foolish, be wise. Wise. It's killing our nation. I understand my parents died from this disease, but such an organization, some with international affiliation, use HIV as an excuse to be the gay lifestyle at ease. But I say right is right, and wrong is wrong. That's why I sing what I sing in my calypso song. I am frightened for politicians or chairmen of the board. I have a duty to Jesus Christ to say what is true and not what they like to do otherwise. I simply cannot afford and get on board because they're dealing with the boxy theology, rejecting who God made them to be, following heresy, perversion and nudity, two mommies in one bed and two daddies. So we must teach the children the right way and tell them you cannot be born gay. And Almighty God, the giver of life, created man and woman to be husband and wife. Anderson Cooper, he came out recently. I wonder who will do the same thing locally. Mr. Moderator, reject homosexual behavior. Thank you, I love you. The announcer.